Hi, my tree care and YouTube friends. Buckingham Manufacturing is going to give you guys a 25% discount on your next Buck Tree Navigator saddle. Watch the video through to the end and we'll get that discount code for you. All right, let's get to it. So last week we opened this saddle and what we didn't really get into is all of the different connecting posts that you can use for climbing. So what I wanted to do today is go over some of them, set up in a few different ways to show what it can do. And actually a lot of different saddles have posts, but I want to specifically talk about the ones on the Navigator here. So at the top here we have these two are connecting posts. Also you have these connecting posts here. There's some connecting posts here and they're all rated posts. You also have a rope slider and you have a ring on the slider. You got two different ropes and all of these are good connecting points. Also on the side you have the side D's, and you can also use, if you have a lanyard that has carabiners, you can use some of these also as posts, and we can show you in the tree when we get up there. Now that I reached into the canopy here, I've lanyarded in using the side D's that are really, they're pretty wide open, and this is a good spot to where you normally would use your lanyard. I've entered the tree using an SRS system, and I'm using a center post. Now this center post, I really like it because it's really tight to me and low, and it really doesn't move around. I like when I walk around the tree, and I kind of like the support that the rope gives me. So with this kind of a system, it's all you got to do is, you disconnect. Okay, and then you stow your lanyard. You always want to make sure you stow your lanyard so you don't bonk yourself on the head. Okay, so now once you've done that, it's simple. You just do your walk, and you can see how it's really close to me, right? The way it feels. So you step over, and that's the motion of this. So it's really tight, close. Doesn't give you a lot of side-to-side movement. That's something that I like when I climb. I don't like it to be far away. I like really when it's close. So another way you can do it is to use this ring, and I'll show you what that looks like. Let me get over there again. Okay, so you got it. Anytime you're gonna change, you want to lock your lanyard in. So here we go. Once you get your lanyard locked in, now you're ready to untie. So let me lock it in. Got my lanyard in. I'm going to tighten myself up so I feel comfortable when I disconnect. So loosen some slack a little. And now I'll connect to the ring. And here goes the ring right here. Now I'll tension it up. Now you see how it's a little bit further away and a little higher up. Now, but it's very secure. These are all rated pieces, and this ring's really a solid, I think 23 kilonewton. Let me unhook my carabiner from my lanyard. Okay. Now that I've disconnected that, I'll connect it back on. All right, now, same kind of motion. You walk in the same way. Now, the big difference is, though, when you do your, sidewalk, right? So, when you're going to do your sidewalk, like here, now if someone's walking and they're doing a limb walk, now they have more motion. See how it slides? So they have, instead of it being connected here and all this tension, they can walk further, bend out. They can go the opposite direction. It's really a lot more smoother of an operation where you can go from side to side. But like for me, I'm pretty old school so I really like the center post because I tend to get to one side and I can't get out of it as easy. So those are the two center post options, and actually you can connect the carabiner to the ropes also. Don't really need to show that because it's the same situation. So I'll go back, and what I'm going to set up next is a MRS system using a few of these different tie-in points. So here you have another setup in an MRS configuration. What's nice about that is you can put your termination in the back, and then you can put your climbing hitch on this side, and it really doesn't get in the way. And so it operates pretty well. You know, that's another, well, I'll show you how that works. Let me see. Yeah, so when you're in the MRS, you know, you tend your line and pull your slack as you walk. So you see how that termination is right there where you want it to be. Now, when you're going to rest down, you just kind of descend. And you could see that it really doesn't get in the way. You know, your termination doesn't get in the way of your climbing hitch. That's another nice option. But the way I like to do is, I really like to use these posts. People think it looks kind of odd, but I really like it. So I'll show you that right now. Get over there. Now once I get lanyard in, it's a simple thing where you just disconnect and reconnect. So I like it on my left side. I like my climbing hitch on my left side. Give it a little bit of slack, and I'll transfer this to the right side here. Okay, and once I have it connected, there we go. So it makes a separation. Let me see. So it has a little bit of a separation, so it never interferes with your termination side. It's something that a way I like to climb. That's kind of how I started climbing. Now this, with the MRS system, or SRS system, I basically don't do that so much anymore. Oops, I twisted my line, hang on. So, well, one of the things that I like when I have it this way, so if I was on a walk, sometimes I can bend out, you know, and I can brace myself with my rope. Because sometimes you get to a branch and it's way out there, you don't feel like, you kind of feel like you're gonna fall, but if you put it and it goes around your shoulders, you can actually kind of support yourself. And it's nice because it's rated, you know? Not something that you have to worry about falling. So let me, another thing that I wanted to talk about is a lanyard. So those are some of the ways you can use it. And with this MRS system, you can still connect to, well, let me do it, to the center ring there. Let's get right here. In the same way that you would if you were with an SRS system. All right, here we go. Connected in. And that's a simple thing too. You'll get your ring, connect it. You just connect it to there. The other one, you're also connected. Now you're connected to your ring. Now for me, like, you can see the difference though in the length. So my normal post is here, but now it's higher. And like, you can, if you really like to, say for a sense, maybe you could figure a way to make your bridge shorter, maybe like putting a butterfly or something in it. And then when you get to the top, now maybe you can give yourself the full length of the bridge. For me, I don't like it because it's really higher. It makes my hitch that much higher. And it's not something I really like to have, you know? Anyhow, that's another way to do it. I'm still lanyard in, so what I'm going to do is connect back to the center post here, and then I'll show you a couple of different options with the lanyard. That I really like. Let me see if I can do it right here. Oops, kind of messed that part up. Hang on. I want to get my bridge out of my climbing system here. So switch it there. There. I have that there. So what I'll show you here is the lanyard. So a lot of times with the lanyard, like I've been doing, you've already seen this part, but I'll just redo it for redundancy. So it's really nice to have this, especially with this saddle. I'm noticing that the back is really stiff. So a lot of times when you're climbing, you'll use your lanyard into these D-rings. But you know, there may be times when maybe you need to hang, you know, so having a different option for posts is a nice thing. So like you can connect to these uppers and then these upper posts, so you have more of a hanging feel. You connect this one here and then the other one. Let me tighten it up here. So it'd be kind of hard to see, but if you had to hang for a little bit and you were on a lanyard, instead of it being completely on the D's, now it's a little bit of a different strain on your body. But they even have these lower ones. Let me show you those. So the lower one, it works in the same way, but it's more like a bench seat. So you could do, you know, connect, because it's a rated connecting point. Connect there, and you do the other one the same side. There you go. So now this way, it's more like a bench. So let me go out a little. So what happens here is instead of it being like pulling on your back, it's more on your legs. So if you're kind of in a hanging situation, this might be a little bit more comfortable if you couldn't get out of it. So having that option is a real nice one too. Having those lanyard posts it's really a nice option with the saddle. I mean, this saddle is so versatile. You can do so many different things. So the next thing I wanted to talk about is, you know, sometimes you're in a tree and it's super long, so you might use the tail end of your rope or another rope, and you can tie in to your saddle in 2 spots. So I'll show you that next. And another thing I like about the saddle is this D-ring and the rope configuration. So as I mentioned, if you were in a huge tree and you have to walk out real far, a lot of times you can throw a shot bag to the ends of branches. Even though you got a good tie-in point, you can use it almost like a huge lanyard, you know? So you get the tail end of one rope, or you could, you know, if you use the tail end of this rope, your climbing rope, you can do that too. Or yeah, if you have a secondary rope, that's a good thing that you can do too. So right now I'll do it with a secondary rope. So I'll make a anchor in onto the ring. And then what I'll actually do is I'll just use old-fashioned. I'll do a Blake's hitch on this secondary climbing line. And what's nice about it is if it's a super long walk, you can set that up. So this will be my tail end, and I'm gonna connect it to the other line. Here we go. Okay. So now, what you want to do is get your Blake set up here. So now that would be doing a long, if I was doing a long walk here. So this is the Blake's. You get it all set up. Tail over the bridge, and then back through the 2 bottoms. There we go. Oops. All right. Kind of a long tail, but I'll live with that. Put some tension on it. Okay. Now, so it's really nice if you still have your termination on your center post. I mean, or you could do it the opposite way. I mean, I'm using this here as my main tie-in, and now I have this one. So if I was going to do a walk, let me put more weight on that. And now I'm going to do a walk. I can go in that direction. So I'll undo my lanyard, and then I'll do a little bit of a walk. Not really going to go very far, but just kind of show you what the motion of this is and how awesome the saddle is, because you have that, you know, you have a tie-in point and you can use a post here. That's really, really nice. I really like that part about this. So on my lanyard, so it's actually almost like a super long lanyard if you look at it. So then you would you know, just like you were climbing. You body thrust so I don't fall. Yeah, so then what I would do is I would move on that direction, and I would either, if I keep on going, now I'm gonna tend this until I get to my tie-in point, and then I would go ahead and get to work. And then what I could do is I could still use this, so when I come back, I don't take a horrible swing. So if I'm coming back, now what you do is you just use this. You can tighten this as you go, you know, take out your slack till you get to back to your center point. Once you get to your center point, you can disconnect it and back to your main tie-in point. As promised, on the Buckingham Manufacturing website, your discount code is Bino, all caps, B-I-N-O. Let me know how it goes for you. There you have it, a review on the different connecting points on a saddle. This one happens to be the Buck Tree Navigator saddle. Once again, we wanted to thank Buckingham for sending us this saddle to review and to share with you guys. As always, comment, like, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell if you like what we do. By all means, share our videos with your friends. And remember, if you're gonna climb, you're gonna do something new, low and slow. Take care.